We're standing at the Donner Party Memorial Statue here in Truckee, California. Now the top of that platform where they're standing is actually the snow depth when they were stranded here. That's over 22.5 feet of snow. It's no wonder they had trouble. This statue turns out to be the gateway to one of the most rugged mountain ranges in the U.S., the Sierra Nevadas. This rugged terrain claimed the lives of thousands of people. The Donner Party is one of the most famous, even infamous groups that ever tried to cross this area. But today, tens of thousands of people use this as their playground. It's the gateway to the Rubicon Trail. The Rubicon can be run in both directions, from Lake Tahoe to Georgetown, California, or the other way around. But because we're running with the Jeep Jamboree, we always start in Georgetown. The Jeep Jamboree has been running the Rubicon for 59 years.
Georgetown at the time was a lumbering and a community area. In the winter, logging was shut down. Everybody would charge their groceries all winter long. And after the second year coming in here, we thought, well, maybe doing something to stimulate the economy of the Georgetown area. We started the Jeepers Jamboree. The first one was in 1953.
It's a chilly 5:30 a.m. Each participant has been placed in a group, depending on their Jeep's level of build and, of course, their driver experience. You've got your big dogs, the pro mods, and, of course, the modified streets. The big dogs roll out at 6:30, followed by the pro mods at 6:45, and the modified street boys bring up the rear at 7. The reason for this is so that no one group will impede the other group's progress. Now here's a tip: bring some sunglasses. It's a blinding 30-mile jaunt to the trailhead at Loon Lake.
Blinded by the lights, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. Blinded by the lights, wrapped up like a douche.
At Loon Lake, we air down and we're ready to roll. Ahead waits a grueling 16-mile slog at an average speed of 1.2 miles an hour. From Loon Lake, we make our way up to Walker Hill, then off to Spider Lake, then on to the Granite Slab. We pass the beautiful Buck Island Lake and take on the Big Sluice. Next, we make our way into Rubicon Springs, our home away from home. The trip out includes the infamous Cadillac Hill and the rewarding observation point at the top. From there, we blaze our way back to Tahoe. The Rubicon is unlike any trail you'll experience. It's slow and technical right out of the gate. And the appropriately named Gatekeeper, although tempered through the years, is still an attention-getting glimpse of what's to come. There's no shortage of trees on the trail. Massive pines add to the beauty and to the challenge of the Rubicon. It turns out that what is to come is immediate. Our trail guides were busy keeping the flow, and lending a hand were needed.
Hey, do you find people actually listen to you sometimes, or no? Or sometimes? He listened, that's how you got over, right? Exactly.
As we climb out of a dust bowl, the trail opens up into a beautiful granite bowl. This gives us the chance to enjoy the view for a few seconds before the next challenge. The Rubicon will give you as much as you'd like to take. Having second thoughts? That's okay. Take the bypass. Live to wheel another day. There's a reason for the 1.2 mile an hour average speed. The obstacles never end, and it seems like they just keep getting worse. By now you're starting to recognize the trail guides, and the fact that seeing one spells trouble, with a capital T. And that rhymes with C, and that stands for carnage. The trail passes the tip of Loon Lake that gives us a gorgeous glimpse of the lake. As we head for a never-ending sea of rocks and boulders. The end of each winter reveals an ever-changing path. Rocks and trees randomly find their way onto the trail. But one man's barrier is another man's rocky playground. A difficult yet accessible road at one time has become a treacherous obstacle-ridden pass. From stagecoaches to Studebakers, this was once a passable route from Georgetown to Tahoe until the road fell into disrepair. Each year nature plays its role, as well as the occasional environmentalist vandal pushing large boulders onto the trail. Large boulders? Nice, it's a Jeeper's dream. Thousands attempt the trail each year, and the trail is often used as a Jeep proving ground.
In 1954, Willie's Jeep joined us for the first year, and ever since then, they have become a very important part of the Rubicon Trail, bringing virtually every model of Jeeps that have been developed over the years as the ultimate final testing and proving ground.
The Rubicon is a never-ending battle with rocks and ledges. Perfect. There isn't another trail that offers so much diverse terrain. It's never wise to go off-road alone, and the Rubicon is no exception. Anything from a driveline to a nose start can end the fun. But when you roll with the Jeep Jamboree, they've got your back. It's taken us over an hour to go 1.5 miles. The trail mellows out a bit as we meander through this rugged landscape, awaiting the next challenge. The Rubicon Trail is a tough one to rate. Some say 10, others rate it a 7. You know, it really depends on the route you take. With bypasses and extra credit obstacles, the trail can be as nasty or as pleasant as you'd like it to be. But one thing's for sure, the Rubicon Trail is not easy. While it's only 8 miles to Rubicon Springs, somehow we're able to make it an all-day event. The Rubicon Trail is continually being compromised.
And a good example of that, about 20 years ago at South Lake Tahoe, the Forest Service went to the high-lows, the trail to one of the lakes up there. They wanted to close it during the summer, during the wet season. That was 20 years ago. It's been closed ever since.
Yeah.
So you never give them an inch because they'll take 10 miles. I've had problems with the government in various areas. Southern Utah, we fought with Bureau of Land Management. We won that one. We've won this one. They still try to apply little things and try to make conditions. They've tried to make winter closures on the trail, and I just don't go for any closure anywhere.
Some side trails and even obstacles on the trail have been completely removed. A once beloved challenge is now an easy route. From one year to the next, obstacles curiously disappear. Walker Hill, once something to be feared. Now, while not easy by any stretch of the imagination, is passable without body damage or breakage. But depending on your lift, your undercarriage could take a serious beating. Jeeps seem to naturally gravitate toward rocks. That's not always a good thing.
Come on! Easy! Keep coming! Easy! Easy! Easy!
Oh good, more rocks. past $1,000 Hill, and we finally make it to Anderson Rock and the granite slab. The trail never lets up. How is such an amazing trail still open? How is it possible that it hasn't been closed? I mean, this is California, home of the Sierra Club and the Snail Darter. Environmentalists have used every trick in the book to try to close down the Rubicon Trail, and yet it remains open.
The county dedicated the trail, it was in the 1870s, I forget the exact date, dedicated it as a county road. The first survey was around 1854, so it was dedicated as a county road. One of the governmental agencies tried to claim the county had abandoned the easement, and in 1992, I had the county redeclare the Rubicon Trail as a non-maintained county road. This took it out of their hands forever. Even though it goes through private and government land, it is a county road.
Thanks to people working tirelessly behind the scenes, tens of thousands are still able to enjoy the beauty of the Rubicon. It's really difficult to capture on film all the Rubicon has to offer. It truly is a remarkable experience as we inch slowly toward Buck Island Lake. When we reach the dam, the importance of ground clearance becomes more apparent.
There you go, go.
Once again, the advantage of the Rubicon Trail is that it has many bypasses and challenges for any level. This is one of those extra credit opportunities that the trail has to offer. Encamped on Buck Island Lake was a fleet of samurai warriors.
This way? Perfect. Now you can straighten out and run right on that.
I thought this would be a good time to impress them with my off-roading prowess.
Embarrassing.
Alas, wheelbase was not in my favor. After repeated attempts, I reluctantly reassessed my position. The bystanders offered no guidance. Entertainment value was just too high. It's all good. With the right line, I was redeemed, and they graciously acknowledged my escape from complete failure. At breakneck speed, we conquer each obstacle as they come, as we slowly approach the last major challenge, the Big Sluice. It's almost a shame that the technical nature of the trail requires so much concentration. It makes it hard to fully experience the beauty of the trail, but not doing so would surely lead to our doom. This is a great finish for a perfect day. The Rubicon Trail is always going through changes, but especially the Big Sluice. It has had some renovations of late. Kinda took some of the fun out of it. Now that doesn't mean the Big Sluice is a bunch of pinwheels and lollipops. It'll still beat the crap out of your Jeep, but if you're lucky, forest people may come out of the trees and help put rocks under your tires. The challenges of the Big Sluice are much different today than they were even a couple of years ago. It's a tough balance to keep the playground safe for all the kids, but still maintain the trail's notoriety. Don't worry, it'll still kick the crap out of your Jeep. Even with the Big Sluice in the rearview mirror, the trail doesn't relent. The bridge is the finishing landmark that takes us into Rubicon Springs. Just when you think they made the trail easier, you get sucker punched. This little squeeze pulled the paint off several tops. Jeep Jamboree USA is built around having a safe, fun, damage-free trip. You know, wherever possible.
From Straight Lake
Well, actually, the Rubicon Trail is an ancient Indian trail, and Indians, both from California and the Nevada side, would come in here and spend the summers.
In the same time it takes to drive from San Francisco to Portland, we easily crossed the 8 miles of trail and arrived at the Rubicon Springs. It boggles the mind to see what the Jamboree has waiting for us. Food, music, recreation, and Jeep repair. We spent a full, glorious day without cell service, but the anticipation of Cadillac Hill loomed. It's 8:30 a.m. and we're off. A mile up the trail is Cadillac Hill. This is the Rubicon's last-ditch attempt to put a dent in your Jeep. It appears this road has seen some travel. It seems fitting to have a graveyard at the base of the granite slab that some call the driveway. Next up, it's Cadillac Hill. This is an excellent time to enjoy nature, reflect on your experience thus far, and maybe ponder why exactly it is you do this to your Jeep. The Hill's namesake Cadillac, rumored to have rolled off the hill, had a much easier time going down than we're going to have going up. The sweet mothers of the trail, not wanting to make the trail unpleasant for anyone, graciously removed a few large boulders. In 2011, the squeeze was just nasty. Today, it's just another pesky rock in the way. A tight squeeze, but doable if you're careful. If you talk to one of the big dogs, they'll tell you that it's really not that bad of a trail. But if you talk to one of the street modified group, you'll get another story. The trail has finally started to mellow. It's a nice reprieve.
Hi, very beautiful.
It's an entertaining trip to the top, where there's a damp forest area that's known for its gnome and even one Yoda sighting. Finally, we break out. The Overlook. A photo op if there ever was one. This is where the trail guides say goodbye and you're on your own. The good news is the worst is over, and it's only 8 miles to Tahoe. Only in a Jeep can you make an 8-mile drive into a 2-hour endeavor. So you're thinking about running the Rubicon Trail, but you've got to ask yourself, will my Jeep make it in its current state of affairs? Or maybe you're a complete newbie and you've just been smitten by that it's a Jeep thing and you're trying to understand. Remember, the Rubicon has seen all types of vehicles traverse the trail, with varying degrees of success. We had a bone stock JK on 33-inch tires survive the trip with some skid plate damage and, maybe a tug here and there. But with some modifications, the enjoyment level of the trail really goes up. It's no longer just survival. With at least 3 inches of lift, some 35-inch tires with lockers, it'll do the trick. By the time you finish the Rubicon, you'll have learned a lot about yourself and your Jeep. If you're a relative newbie, I'd highly recommend you run the Rubicon with the Jeep Jamboree USA. But put it at the top of your bucket list.